Hey, what's up? Andy here. Today I want to show you the brand new features in Captain Plugins Epic 7. What I'll do is give you a live walkthrough while making a track so you can see the new features in context. Alright, let's get started. So, what we've got here is Captain Chords Epic 7 in front of us. The way I want to do this tutorial is live, obviously, and using some context from how you would actually use the plugin in the real world. So I'm going to make a song basically, and it's going to have a verse, it's going to have a chorus. If you can see here, I've already got some vocals to use. It's just sort of deep house sort of vocals. And what we'll do is I'll show you how you can use the new features to get the best chord progression, first of all, for those vocals, and yeah, how to make the most of the new features. Then we'll move on to the other Captain Plugins flavors and build the track up, again showing the new features that the new version has. Okay, so first of all, the vocal is in D minor, but if you don't know that already, you could use Mixed In Key Studio Edition or Mixed In Key Live to find the key of any vocal. So it's in D minor, it's 123 BPM. I've just put that information there. Alright, so the first thing about Captain Plugins Epic 7 is the new chord progression menu. So you have more options. It's easier to find what you're looking for than in the previous version. So if we click edit here, you'll see we've got various banks. We've got Americana, chill out, electronic house, all these different popular genres. So if you want to find a chord progression which will work with your favorite genre of music or the genre of music that you're producing, this is a really quick way to find it. So in this case I would choose house, and then we've got lots of different styles of chord progressions here. So in this case I would choose top chords in minor because it's in D minor, but you know, you could choose seventh chords in minor as well. That might work out quite well with deep house also, but I'm just going to choose this one here, and then we've got all these progressions that we can choose from, and we can addition and go through them. So let's see, I want to probably start on the tonic, so I would probably start with a chord progression that's like this. So it's D minor at the very start here. So what we can simply do is press play. I'll just set the loop around, it's already set around the verse part, and we've already got this named verse. Actually, what we can do is use the tabs, which again are new in Captain Plugins Epic 7, and create a new tab for the next part of the vocal, which is the chorus. And we'll come back to that later. But anyway, let's work on this now.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you.
Now, I promise I didn't audition this first. That was just pure luck that sounded quite good. But let's try some other options. Let's see. Let's try this one.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately.
I really like those first two chords. So it's D minor, then C major. So we can see that it's the minor first and the major seventh chord. So we can look for another progression with two different ending chords, but the same first two. So again, we'll go back to here. So let's see, could be this one or this one. There's actually lots here, so let's just try all these.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you.
Not quite right, but close. Let's try this one.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you.
That does work. I think the first one was still the best, actually.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you.
No. I don't like to search for ages and ages when I'm making a song. I want to move quickly, so I'm just going to go back to that first progression. If I can remember which one it was that I chose. Yeah, I think it was this one. No. Let's just do undo until we get to it. Yeah, it was that one.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you.
I wonder if we could change this chord actually to this one. See how that works.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you.
All right, great. So that's how quick it is with these new features to find something that works really well and supercharges your workflow. All right, so now we can look at the rhythm element because we've got the chords, got the chord progression, and now we want to think maybe about the rhythm. Now, we don't have to change the rhythm, we could just use this, but I want to show you this feature. So we click on Edit. You can see now that you've got different ways of filtering the rhythm presets. So there's 4 different ways to filter. So popular, so that's going to be just popular rhythms that are featured in many upfront songs that we've analysed. Then you can filter by genre. So this sort of lets you choose rhythms which are specific to a type of genre. And you can see here you've got the different genres. Category is the style, I think, is the best way to describe it. The style of the rhythm. So blocked chords are like what we've got on here just now. And if you go to some of these, you'll see they're all like blocks. A little bit robotic, but that might be what you're looking for. Whereas if you're looking for something that was maybe a little bit more like a real person playing the piano, you'd want to choose pianistic. And you can see here we've got like anticipation. See, that's a lot more detailed. And that might be a bit too busy for what we're looking for, but it's fun to try all these different rhythm presets and see which fit and, you know, inspire you to try something different other than just using standard chords changing on each bar. Let's try a few of these.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to.
Okay, no, but there was parts of that were nice.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain.
That's quite nice. It's got a sort of strummed feel to it.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. I can tell you're hurting, baby.
I think because this vocal is quite busy, we don't want such a busy chord progression. So I'm going to change this to, I think I'm going to go back to blocks. And then let's just addition some of these. Yeah, that's busy, busy. Let's go through them, see what's not busy. I think all these constant ones are busy. That's not busy enough. Let's try that.
I can tell you're hurting, baby.
Okay, that definitely doesn't work. Let's undo that. And let's go back here. Let's try something else. Blocks with timing, dotted, steady blocks.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you.
All right, I like that. It's simple, but actually it works quite well. What I would want to do to this now is probably add some complexity just to thicken the notes out. And you can also experiment with the half and double time as well, which can give some quite cool results. Whether it works with a vocal, it's hard to say. You just have to try it and see. Let's double the timing.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately.
So it can work in some instances. I don't think it's particularly great for that, but yeah, it's not bad. So let's have a listen to that now. And actually what I'll do is humanize it slightly. Again, this is another feature that we've improved on in Captain Plugins Epic 7. So you click here, select the chords, click on humanize, and then we can change the duration of the notes using space. So we can just shorten them slightly and maybe just add a little bit of realism with some strum, just a little bit, not too much. Let's see how that sounds.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you.
Now I think the problem with this is it's a bit rigid in its rhythm, so we could go to sound design and we could maybe put a bit more delay on that.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you. I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show.
Alright, that sounds not bad. I'm not totally sure that's what I would go with, but I wanted to show you how you can use these features, these new features, to get something together quickly, which can easily be edited later on. So we now have the verse, and let's find something for the chorus. And because we've created this new tab, we can just click here and we've got a nice blank canvas. So all we need to do here is just move the loop around the next part of the vocal and choose something else. So again, we'll go back to chord progression.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow.
Okay, so let's go back to here and let's choose, let's just randomize it. Let's press this option here and see what it comes up with.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow.
Okay, definitely not. I do think we need to start on the tonic, the root chord, for the best result. So we'll just flick through until we get one. Let's see, let's try this.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
I really like that end, but this second chord not so much. Let's change it to that.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow.
No, not quite right.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
That's quite nice. So the minor first and the major sixth chord, but I think I preferred the ending of this one. Yeah. Major six. Yeah, let's try this.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow.
So I think with this, we've got like a 4-bar loop here, but the actual vocal is, what is it? How many bars is it? Like 8 bars. So I think what we should probably do here is extend this out. So let's duplicate this, duplicate all, and maybe consider changing some of these chords. So maybe not going back to the tonic, maybe going somewhere like here.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow. Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
That's not bad. And also we've added more sound presets in the new Captain Plugins Epic 7, and these are phase plant sound presets. If you use Captain Plugins Epic a lot, then you'll have your favorite sounds and you'll see some of these new plucks, like this one, which is definitely a new sound. Let's give that a try.
Baby, yeah, yeah.
It's too low. Let's turn that up a bit. Sorry.
Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow. Baby, can tell you're hurting, baby.
Let's go back and play this back.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you. Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow.
And for this, there is a missing part there. There's definitely a pre-chorus. I have not downloaded. It's required to make those two sections actually flow nicely into each other. But regardless of that, you can see how easy it is to find a chord progression now for any vocal or for an existing song that you're working on. There's also some nice additional updates with the user interface to clean things up a little bit. For example, down here you can see the chords, and if you switch to the rhythm view, then you can see what rhythm's playing for each section of the song, and this links up now to this section. So if you change it here, it'll also change up here, which makes things a lot less complicated and it makes the user experience much better. So it's much more fun to use the plugin. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tidy up these chords a little bit. I'm going to then open Captain Deep Epic 7 and we'll figure out a bass line for this. Okay, so I've just adjusted some of the chords. I actually changed some in the verse part to match more with the chorus section, but it's more or less along the same lines. Other than what I've done is I've changed the rhythm back to just playing change on chord change rather than playing a rhythm. The reason for that is because when we go in to make a bass line, I want to show you some of the fancy rhythms that come with Captain Deep Epic. And if you've got a complex rhythm on the chords, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't sound right to have a complex rhythm on the bass line as well. So other than that, there's not really any other differences. But what I thought I would do first is just go through Captain Beat Epic and the new update on that and get some drums laid down just so we can get a better idea of the rhythm and the groove for this track. So as you can see, it looks very similar to the old version of Captain Beat Epic, other than that the side here, this has all been revamped and it's a much nicer user interface. You have the tools up the top here, easy to access and clear. You've then got the patterns here, which are broken down into banks, and they just look a lot more intuitive to use, and it makes it much easier to find what you're looking for. There's some new presets in here as well. Let's try Duke, and just come out of here, and Mask. This is a new drum kit, so we've added new drum kits as well, not just new patterns but new kits as well. So there should always be something which will fit for your style of music.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you. Lately, just let it go and I'll take you. Baby, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow. I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you. Baby.
I think I quite like the mask kit, so that's fine. So let's come back out of that. I want to show you this double time and half time because it's really cool. So first of all, what I will do is half time, all right? And we'll play back and you'll hear how it just changes it slows the pace of the track down.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to.
And that's great. You could use that to lead into a drop, or just for slowing the track down prior to like a more of a faster build up, or yeah, you can use it for tricks like that. And conversely, if you want to speed things up, let's put it to that's normal pace, and then let's speed it to double time.
I can tell you're hurting, baby.
And then double again.
I can tell you're hurting, baby.
So you can use that to quickly make some nice drum fills, that kind of thing. It just speeds up your workflow, and it will also give you some ideas. If you've got some writer's block in terms of the drums, it allows you to think about other ideas, things that you can do just to change it up to keep the listener interested. So that more or less covers Captain Beat and the updates to that. But I think it's much nicer to use, and it's more intuitive, and your workflow will be increased. So as you can see, I've put it back to change on the rhythm change on chord change. So we can come out of that now, and I've opened up Captain Deep here already, and let's open the user interface, and everything's set up D minor, follow the chords. So it's just going to play simple 1 bar notes, but we want something a bit more fancy than that. So we'll go to rhythm, follow the chord, click on here. As you can see, this has been updated as well, and we've got the new filter, 4 filters to find the best rhythm for your chords. So I would probably go to genre first of all for this, and maybe look at something which is for house. It's not really disco, but we could make it disco. Let's try it. I just feel that octave's a bit low. It is. Certainly a disco vibe does actually work. Let's see, disco movement. Ibiza. So you see, I made a quick adjustment to Humanize there. I felt the notes were too short and they were just not coming through. I also still feel like that bass line is a little bit too deep. So if I select all, that's using Command A on a Mac, and it'll be Control A on Windows. You can see you've got the scale degree buttons here. You've also got octave up, down, and also you've got the double and half time options there as well, plus your regular tools for editing on the canvas. So I want to move this up. I like this rhythm. I think this could be the one. There are lots for lots of different genres, so you're not going to be stuck for things to try out. And you can mix and match the genres, but using the ones here is a good starting point, I think. You've also got category, again, like in Captain Chords Epic, so you can choose the style of the rhythm rather than necessarily the genre, and also popular ones. And if you want to save your own, they'll be in here under user. So let's see, let's give this a listen to. I really like the rhythm. I don't like these deviations from the root note. I don't see the point in those. So that's easily fixed. Look, just click on that, root. And I think it's nice to have some tension, and this is what it's doing, but I think it's the wrong notes. So this is the great thing about Captain Deep Epic, is you can go in and you can find something that's close to what you want, but you can still edit it. And that's what I'm doing here. Now, I would probably say this one would make more sense to come down to here, or perhaps here, or even here. I think try it there. Let's try it here for a bit more tension. So blue, there'll be little tension because it's chord notes. Green, a little bit more tension. Yellow, lots of tension. Oh, don't want that either. Yeah, that's much nicer. And in this one, again, we can have a little bit of tension. Keep it similar, so there's a little bit of symmetry in the way the bass line is playing. Let's not have one here, but one here. Yeah, let's see. So it's varying. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm not sure if I would settle on that, to be honest. I actually quite like the disco patterns. I think they are really nice. And that's kind of in just now, isn't it? In music, in popular music. I would extend those out a bit using the humanize feature here. Just spread them out a little bit more, get a bit more energy into the bass line. And of course we've got lots of new sound presets. These default ones are really nice. Classic house bass, that could work. Let's try it with the vocal in.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you, baby. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow. I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you, baby. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow.
So yeah, so we'll go to bass like that. I need to change the pattern. What was it we used? It's Disco 1, and then just change the humanize option. So let's see, house, Disco 1, and select all, humanize, and just pull that open a bit here. And that's the verse. So that's the start of this bit.
I can tell you're hurting, baby. So take my hand and I'll show you how to forget all the pain they caused you lately. Just let it go and I'll take you, baby. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Stop thinking about tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Let's not worry about tomorrow.
So yeah, we've come up with something quite good, I think. The vocal's quite nice to start with, but we've harmonised it well. It's not overly complicated, and the timbres used sound fitting with the vocal. It's not particularly well mixed at all. I haven't really mixed it. I had a little bit of high pass EQ just to clear up the muddiness from the bottom end. But other than that, I haven't touched it really. Maybe a little bit of adjustment on the levels, but other than that, there's nothing. So it doesn't sound great in terms of a production or polished, but the content is good. And that's the important part. Once you get the content right, then you can work on the production and the mixing and stuff like that. So that rounds up the live walkthrough. I hope you found it useful and you'll use some of these tips and techniques with the new features in Captain Plugins Epic 7 in your own music. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.